Good day, students. I hope everybody is doing great. Today, our main strands that we are going to talk about is geometry and measurement. Our substance here is measurement. Under the measurement, we are going to calculate the perimeter of a given shape in centimeters and meters. So you are going to calculate the perimeter, which is the total distance around a given shape. Our lessons have been taken from the new curriculum of BS5, strands number 3, substrand 2, content standard 1, and then indicator 2. So this is the resource pack that you have derived our lesson from. Let's proceed. When you talk about the perimeter is the total distance around a plane shape. It means add all the line segments around a given 2D shapes. When you talk about a 2D shape, we mean a shape with length and breadth. So you're going to add all the dimensions around a given shapes, and that one we call it perimeter. So the perimeter will deal with the total line segment that form the shape, or the total distance around a given plane shape, and then all the line segments must be added. Okay, good. Let's see some of the steps that will be needed to calculate the perimeter of a shape. Before you calculate the perimeter of the shape, the first thing you have to do is what? You identify the units of the dimensions. You identify the units of the dimensions. So the measuring units that I'm talking about, the centimeters, the meters, the millimeters, and go. So the first thing you have to check the unit of what? Of the dimensions given. Then make sure the SI unit or the International Standard Unit are the same. Make sure the SI units are the same. When you talk about you're making sure that the SI units are the same, then you check the units, you make sure if all the units are in centimeters, they all be in centimeters. If they are in millimeters, it all be in what? Millimeters. If they are meters, make sure all the dimension will be what? Meters. Then use what you know to get what you don't know. When you say use what you know to get what you don't know, which means some dimensions of the shapes will be given, others will not. So use the properties of a rectangles or the properties of shapes to identify the other sides where the opposite of rectangles are always equal. So use what you know to get what you don't know. Then label the various vectors or joints of the shapes by using capital letters. After identify the number of line segments that form the shapes, then you label the various vectors or the various corners formed by two line segments with capital letters. Use the letters that you have stated to formulate your own formula. So after you have identified the number of joints of the shapes, then use letters to identify the joints. After then, use the letter that you use to form your own formula. You know the perimeter is the total distance around a given shape. So forming your own formula here will be you add all the lines around the shapes. So you start with the line AB or any letter that you choose, and then you add all the line segment before you do the substitution with the dimension given. Finally, add all the dimensions allocated to the shapes. After you have stated the formula, then the dimensions that have been allotted, you do the substitution in place of the letter that you use to choose, or use it to replace a line or those segments that form the shapes, and later you add all. Then you make sure all the the dimensions are in the same units, the measuring units. So first we said identify the unit of the dimensions, make sure the SI units are the same, use what you know to get what you don't know, use the properties of rectangles or the properties of the quadrilaterals to also get the other dimension that was not even given. Use the marks on the lines to identify those lines that are the same, those lines that are not the same. Then you label the various vectors or joint of the shapes by using capital letters. Use the letter that you have stated or use the letter stated to formulate your own formula. The formula, you already know the perimeter is the addition of all the dimensions. So you have to give names to the line segment that form the shape. That is why you use the letters to identify the joints, so that you'll be adding all the line segments before you do the substitution with with the dimensions. Now, let's try and learn this one before you saw one or two things about the perimeter. The International System of Units, the SI unit. But you must know this convention before you start calculate anything here. For every 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter. For every 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter. For every 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. For every 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. For every 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometers. For every 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. The kilo here means thousand. So for every 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. For every 1,000 gram is equal to 1 kilogram. For every 1,000 gram is equal to 1 kilogram. For every 100 mils is equal to 1 liter. For every 1,000 mils is equal to 1 liter. So make note of all these things, because these are the standard before you can convert any centimeters to millimeters or millimeters to centimeters, centimeters to meters. You must state this standard before you do your conversion. Good. Let's solve one more examples under the perimeter. For example, change 70 millimeters to centimeters. Change 70 millimeters to centimeters. The question 2, convert 3 centimeters to millimeters. So let's quickly solve this one. Now you write your solution. Then because you are going to change the 70 millimeters to centimeters, then you have to know the difference between what? The millimeters and the centimeters, or the standard of what? The millimeters and the centimeters. Okay, good. So with this, you are going to state the what? The difference between the millimeters and what? Centimeters first, before you change the 70 millimeters to centimeters. And let's see the difference here. We said for every 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter. Good. So for every 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter. So once you have stated the difference between the millimeters and centimeters, then you record the 70 millimeters under the 10 millimeters. And then you choose any letter to also represent the centimeters that we don't know. So this one, let me do the manual calculations here. So now we are going to record the 70 millimeters here. Under the millimeters, because the here belongs to the millimeters arena, and here also belongs to what? The centimeters arena. So everything under the millimeters must record it under the what? The standard. And here, because we don't know the centimeters, we can put K to represent K, the centimeters here. So now we have the K centimeters here. Okay, good. Then with this, once we have stated that 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeters, and because you want to change the 70 millimeters, you have recorded the 70 millimeters under the millimeters, and then you choose a letter to represent the centimeters, because centimeters here we don't know. So after you have done recording in this form, then you do your cross multiplication. The cross multiplication, which means the 10 will be used to multiply what? The K. We are going to do away with the what? The unit here. So the 10 will be used to multiply what? The K when you cross multiply, which is equal, or which must be equal to the 70, the coefficient that we'll be using it to multiply. The 70 will be used to multiply what? the 1 here. So we have the 70 times 1. Okay. So when you multiply the 10 by the k, now we have the 10k. Then, which is equal to the 70 times 1, which is the same as 70. But because you wanted to find what? The k, not 10k, you divide both sides here by the number attached to the k. And 10 is attached to the k, so you divide both sides by the number attached to the k so that k will be free. So you divide both sides by 10. Now, this 10 attached to the k will cancel this one. And then the last digit of this side here will also cancel this one too. Now k is equal to what? 7 out of 1, and that is 7. Okay, and because we use the k to represent what is centimeters, so the answer must be in centimeters here. Okay, good. Therefore, 70 millimeters is equal to 7 centimeters. Good. Now we are going to change or convert 3 centimeters to millimeters. Like what I said earlier on, you first did the standard, okay? The difference between the centimeters and millimeters here. Now, you have already written the solution, so I'm not going to write the solution again. So the question 2. Here's the question. Here's the question 1. And then here will be the question 2. Good. So for the question 2, you need to state what the difference between the centimeters and then millimeters here. Now, we know for every 10 millimeters must be equal to 1 centimeter here. So because we have finished stating the difference between the millimeters and centimeters, then let's record our marks here. We are changing what? The 30 or the 3 centimeters here. The 3 centimeters because this time we have a place or the arena for the centimeters. You need to record the 3 centimeters under the centimeters arena, and then you choose a letter to represent the millimeters that you wanted to change to. So here will be the 3 centimeters here, okay, under the centimeters, and then you choose any letter, which is K millimeters, okay. Good. After you have recorded them here, now you use what's the cross multiplication to write your linear equation. So let me do the cross multiplication, which means the 10 here, the coefficient of the millimeters here will multiply the 3 here, and then the 1 here will multiply the k. So now we have k times 1, which is equal to 10 times 3. Because when you cross multiply, the 10 here will be used to multiply the 3. The k here will be used to multiply the 1. K times 1 is 1k, okay, which is equal to 10 times 3 is 30. Okay. To find k, not 1k, divide both sides here by the number attached to the k, and that is 1. This one will take care of this one here. Now k is free, okay? Good. Which is equal to 30 over 1. And 30 over 1 is the same as 30. Okay, good. So because k is used to represent the millimeters here, so your answer here must be in millimeters. Okay, therefore 3 centimeters is equivalent or equal to 30 millimeters. Good. Now let's proceed. Now, example. Once you have done converting from centimeters to millimeters and then vice versa, let's continue to find the perimeter of the shape below here. Now we are going to use some of the steps that we learned before you calculate the perimeter, which will be the total distance around the shape. So we have this line, this line, this line, this line. So in all, the first shape here is formed by 4 line segments, and per the indicators on the lines, which shows that all the lines are what? Equal, because they have the same mark on them. And this shape looks like what? A square. And because the marks are the same, it means the shape is what? Square. You can conclude that the shape is what? Square. And the square, all sizes are also what? Equal. So we are using what we know here to find what we don't know. The opposite are also the same. And because they have the same mark, it means all the 4 sizes here are equal to 4 centimeters. Good. So let's calculate. After identify the unit here is centimeters. So which means all the dimensions here will be centimeters. So there's no need to change any other to millimeters or meters or any other unit here. So you write your solution and then you solve. Now you have done with the solution. Then, because the shape here has been given to you, you have to draw a new one, okay? And then you label the joints. So let's label the joint here, okay? So here is our A, here is point B, here is point C. and here is point D. Okay, which means we are going to add all the line segments here. And because the lines here are the same, which means here too is 4 centimeters. Here too is 4 centimeters. And then here too is 4 centimeters. Now you have finished what? Giving all the dimension to each line segment here. Now let's calculate, and then we are going to use our letters here to formulate our own formula. Okay, and then we calculate. Let me state this one too. Good. So with this, you are going to calculate all the line segments here. So here is line AB, which is line AB here, plus line BC, plus line CD, okay, plus DA. Are you okay now? Good. Now you do your substitution. Line AB, which is 4 centimeters plus another 4 centimeters plus another 4 centimeters plus another 4 centimeters. Okay, good. Now, the next one here, that will be when you add them. 4 plus 4, which is 8, plus 4, 12, plus 4, and that is 16 centimeters. So you write 16 centimeters here, which is 16 centimeters. Okay, good. So our answer here is what? 16 centimeters. The meaning of 16 centimeters is that if you walk around this shape, if you walk and starting from the point A, walking around this shape here, you cover a distance of 16 centimeters. So when you begin your journey from the point A to walk to B, to C, D, and back to the A, you cover a distance of what? 16 centimeters. So the total distance around the shape, when you walk around the shape, is 16 centimeters. Now, let's solve the question 2. This shape here looks like a rectangle, and we said the opposite sides, since here the mark here is 1 and here is also 1, it shows that the line here and this line here are the same, aside that they all have the same indicators showing that the lines are equal. Now looking at the what, the length here, the top length and the down length here are also the same. They are having the same 2 marks on them. That also indicate that these 2 lines are also what? The same. So without wasting my time, let's label the dimensions. So therefore here too is what? 3 meters. because the opposite of a rectangles are always the same. And here too is what? 15 meters, because the opposite of a rectangle are also the same. Good. Now we label our joints here. Point A, point B, point C, and then point D. Okay, good. So you are going to add all the line segments around the shape, or we start from the point A and add all the line segments that form the shape. Therefore, let me write the perimeter here. So now the perimeter for this shape here too is what? Let me put the indicators that show that we are dealing with a line. So show that the line AB plus BC, line AB plus BC plus CD plus what? DA. Okay, good. Now the next one is to do the substitution of the line here. So line AB is 15. So perimeter is what? Line AB is 15 centimeters plus line BC, which is 3 centimeters, plus line CD or DC is also 15 centimeters. No, this one is in meters. Okay, so meters. Okay, and then the last one too is plus 3 meters. Okay, good. 3 meters. Now when you add them, the 15 plus 3 plus 15, so 15 plus 15 will give us what? 30. 3 plus 3 is also 6. So now we have 30 what? 6. So we have 36 meters here. Good. So therefore, the total distance around this shape here is 36 meters. When you walk around this shape, here, which is a rectangle, therefore you will spend about a distance of what, or you cover a distance of what, 36 meters before you can walk around the shape. So then the total distance around this rectangle is what? 36 meters. Let's proceed. And now per this one too, find the perimeter of the shape below. Now looking at the shape here, we said the first thing you have to do is what? You check the measuring units. Now the down length here is what? Millimeters, and then the other line segment, which is the width or the breadth here, is also what? In centimeters. So you can never add the millimeters and centimeters together. And besides, you need to convert them to one unit. Okay, it's either you convert them to millimeters and then you calculate in millimeters, or you convert all into centimeters and then you calculate in what? centimeters. Okay, good. So let's write our solution and solve. Good. So we have decided to also calculate in what? In centimeters first. And then we solve those who also calculate in what? In millimeters. It doesn't mean that when in exams you solve the two at the same time. No, you will decide whether you calculate in centimeters or you calculate in what? Millimeters. Once you know how to convert centimeters to millimeters and vice versa here. So first, let's identify the shapes here, or you draw another shape, okay? Because we are going to deal with the two, let's draw another shapes here, okay? Good. Now, we have here 5 centimeters, okay? And here is 90 millimeters. So the opposite must also be 5 centimeters, because the properties of a rectangle, the opposite sides are always equal. Then you label this joint A, B, C, and here is D, okay? Because here is 90 millimeters, you want to change the 90 millimeters to what? To centimeters. So you write change 90 millimeters to centimeters. Okay, good. Now to change 90 millimeters to centimeters, you must know the difference between the millimeters and centimeters. So the difference is what? 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter. Then you record the 90 under the millimeters, because this one is 90 millimeters. So you record it under the millimeters here. Okay. Which is equal to, you choose any letter to. So let me choose Y centimeters to represent that. Then you do your cross multiplication. Okay. Then the 10 will be used to multiply the Y. So which will be 10 times Y equal to, the 90 will be used to multiply the coefficient here, which is 1. So 90 times 1. Okay. Now here you have the 10Y equal to 90. Okay. So to find the Y, which is millimeter, divide both sides by 10. Okay. And here by 10. So that the number attached to the Y will be free. Okay. The last digit here will cancel the last digit here. Now we have the 9 out of 1, and that is 9 centimeters. Okay. Now you have gotten our 9 centimeters here. when you change, oh, and 9 here is good, 9 centimeters. When you change the 90 millimeters to centimeters, you get 9 what? Centimeter. The opposite are also the same. So here too is what? 9 centimeters. Okay. So once you have done changing the millimeters to centimeters, now that you are going to calculate for the perimeter. Okay, good. Now the perimeter here, what is the total distance around the shape? Now we have it here, which is line AB plus BC plus CD plus that. Okay, and therefore line AB is what? 9 centimeters plus 5 centimeters plus 9 centimeters plus 5 centimeters. Okay, good. Now, nine plus 5. 9 plus 5 is what? 14. They say 9 plus 5, so multiply by the 2. That will be 28. Okay, so the total distance around the shape in centimeters is what? 28. 28 centimeters. Okay, and that is the perimeter. Good. Good. So perimeter in centimeters is 28 centimeters. Or somebody may also decided not to calculate in what? In centimeters, but you will do it in what? Millimeters. So let's quickly draw our shapes here and do the calculations. Okay, so let me shift this one down here and then shift this one down here. Okay, then let me clean this one. And then let me write the lines. Well, line AB, BC, CD, and DA, and then underline it well. Okay, let me draw another shape and do the calculation for this one. Now let me write the dimensions here. Because we want to calculate them in what? In millimeters, we will maintain this one. So here is 90 millimeters. The opposites are also the same. So here too is 90 90 millimeters. Okay, good. Because here is 5 centimeters, so you are going to change the 5 centimeters to what? 2 millimeters. Then let me label the joint first. Here is A, B, and then C, and here is D. Okay, good. So you write change 5 centimeters to millimeters. Okay, good. So I'm going to change 5 centimeters to millimeters. Then then you must state the what? The standard or the difference between the millimeters and the centimeters here. And then we have it here for every 10 millimeters must be equal to 1 centimeter here. Okay, good. Then because you are changing the 5 centimeters, so you choose any letter to represent what? The millimeters. So let me choose the A, the small a, millimeters must be equal to the 5 centimeters. Okay, then you do your cross multiplication. The coefficient here will multiply this, and then the coefficient here will also multiply that. Now we have 10 times 5 is equal to A times 1. Okay, then here we have the 50 equal to 1A. So to find the A, divide both sides by 1. This one will take care of this. So 50 divided by 1 is the same as what? 50. So here, therefore, A is equal to 50 millimeters. Okay, good. Now, can write 50 millimeters. Okay, and then we have 50 millimeters here. Good. So you are going to add them and calculate the perimeter. So the perimeter will be the total distance around these shapes. So let me write the formula for finding the perimeter. Okay. So the perimeter is the total distance around the shapes, which is line AB plus BC plus line CD plus what? So line AB plus this plus that. Okay, good. Therefore, the perimeter is what? The 90 millimeters plus 50 millimeters plus 90 millimeters plus 50 millimeters. Okay, good. Then when you put them together, the 90 plus 50 is 140. 140 times 2 be what? 280. Which will be equal to 280 millimeters. Okay, good. That will be the 280 millimeters. Okay, good. Now that is how you solve. So you can choose one. Okay, it's not advisable to solve the two at the same time. You choose one. It's either you change to centimeters, you solve, and that ends it, or you change to millimeters and then you solve, and that ends it. Good. Let's solve the last example concerned about this one. Now find the perimeter of the shape below. So with this, you first check the unit and they are in the same unit. So that here you are not going to change anything. Okay, good. Therefore, you are going to use what we know here to find what we don't know. So before then, let's label the joint. We have A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, good. So some dimension here have been given to us, others have not been given. Okay, good. So since others have not been given, you have to find all the dimensions because the perimeter deal with all the dimensions or all the distance around the shapes. So looking at this one, the line AF or FA is not given to us, and then line AB2 is not given to us. Good. Now we are going to use what we know to find what we don't know. So looking at this one here, when you draw a broken lines down here, you could see clearly that the line FE will be equal to part of the AB, okay? So here will be the 2 centimeters plus, then you come to the line DC. The line DC here is also 5. When you descend it, the opposite, it also forms a nice rectangular shapes. So the opposite of what? Line DC is also part of what? Line AB. And here is what? 5 centimeters. Okay, good. Now, when you add them, let me bring the brackets. When you add them, the total line or the total dimension for line AB is 7, okay? So 2 plus 5 is 7 centimeters. Okay, good. Now let's find the line FA or AF. Now looking at this one too, when you draw a broken line from the point D to touches what? The line AF, it's obviously that the distance from the E to D is directly opposite to part of the FA. So here is line 4 centimeters. Only this part to this part is 4 centimeters. And then let's check the other side here. Now, so the distance from the E to D is also part or equal to part of what? The FA. Now, when you come to the point C and B, okay? Now, the point C and B here is also form what? When you descend the line or extend the line to line FA, you could see clearly that they form a nice what? Rectangular shapes here. And the opposite of CB can be found on the line FA. So here too is what? 6 centimeters. So when you put the 4 centimeters and the 6 centimeters together for the line FA, the total will be 10. Okay, so the total will be 10 here. So let me write the total. So the total of this line here will be 10 centimeters. Okay. Centimeters. Okay, good. So this time line AF or FA is 10 centimeters. Now we have gotten all the dimensions, so you can calculate the perimeter here. So the perimeter so the perimeter, which is line AB plus BC plus CD plus DE plus EF plus FA. Okay, good. Good. Now, so you count to double check here whether the lines segment that form the shapes are the same with this one that you have stated. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. Now you can write the lines here. So line AB plus BC plus CD plus DE plus EF plus FA form these shapes here. Now let's write the dimensions here. Now the perimeter line AB is 7. Now we have found is 7 centimeters plus plus, let me write a plus 6 centimeters plus 5 centimeters plus 4 centimeters plus 2 centimeters plus 10 centimeters. Okay, so let me extend them. So that is the 7 centimeters and that. So let's count and check whether what we have stated is not understated or overstated here. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the same 6. Okay, good. Then let's add them. Now, when you have the 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 2 plus 10, that is 34. So that is 34 centimeters. Okay, that is 34 centimeters. Which means that the total distance around this shape here is 34 centimeters. So if you decided to walk around the shapes here, you cover a distance of 34 centimeters. I hope you will be able to use what you know to get what you don't know, like what we did here, where some dimension will not be given to you, and then use what you know here. You have this one, so you extend this one to form a rectangular shapes, and then use the properties which show that the opposites are always the same. So from a distance from here to here, it's also part of the line AF or FA. So you write the 4 here, while you have indicating the broken line, showing the top here, it looks like what? A rectangle. And then the same thing, when you come to the other end here, the line BC or CB, when you extend this line, it also form a rectangular shape, which is also directly opposite to the part of the line FA. And then here too is the same as 6, 6. Okay, the 6, 6. And then the total length here is also part of what? The 6 and the 4. So when you add them, you get what? The 10 centimeters. Now when you come down here to find the line AB, you look at the top here and then you descend or draw a broken line from the point D to part of the line AB, and then use the properties of a rectangle. So from a distance from here to here is opposite towards the distance from here to here. So definitely here too is what? The 2 centimeters. Now you come back to this side. When you drop this line to this down here, line DC is also part or opposite to the part of what? Line AB. So the distance from here to here is also equal to the distance from here to here. Assuming that you draw a shape here, definitely the shape, the opposite will be the same. Are you okay? When you draw this line, the opposite will always be the same here. I hope you have done. Okay, good. Now, thanks for watching. Okay, good. See you.